Just a little bit of dust in my eyes. Da, 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 new die. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I changed my background as well. Okay. Okay. Alright. I'm down. I'm winning at Super Auto Pets today. I have decided. Okay, let me. There's a lot of stuff I need to close.
Yeah, my
here.
milkshake brings all the
Foreign
boys we
sticks
are,
for the
but
6
turns out
months.
the boys
Holy
are
moly.
fashion.
Okay,
For
hold
my
on.
6-month sub PLS, considered these emotes.
Oh, hold on. I haven't seen it yet. Hold on. I need the bathroom. Just get in for sap. I'll have a look in a second.
In my life, in the world of Hasanabi Piker.
We're back in a second.
Let me tell you, music is not my jam. Hold on. I'm gonna fix it. It's a little bit better. A little cozier vibes. North Korea? Yeah. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Hold on, I'm just waiting for my chess arena to load.
I played, as you guys know, for 10 hours.
Get in for sap, by the way.
I played No Pixel last night.
You need to send the links. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see.
And then did a 10-hour banger.
There we go.
Hey, Sana, just got cheated on from a 7-year relationship, hoping for good luck in the new year. I'm the guy that watched 2K hours of you. Brother, that's probably why.
Okay.
You need to watch 3K
Join for sap.
hours.
I'll be back in a second. I need the bathroom.
And then you won't get cheated on. You know what I'm saying? Folks. Get those numbers up, King. Anyway, look, folks. We're alive. And I'm not addicted. Okay?
It was almost like...
What is this? Greek discovers distant Turkish relatives. Stavi's world? Oh, God. Yeah, make those 2K hours, 3K hours. Oh, here. This is the RP update. Here you go. Here. I'll show you this at least. No Pixel Sesh last night was so fire and entertaining. Yeah. It's always good. Here. Your RP sucks. You need to get your ass to Valorant, says Farting Co.
Are we somebody else?
Are we being a bit misogynistic here? Immediately blaming the woman. We should be blaming the gay guy instead.
That might be you.
It's probably Mickey.
It's Mickey. What is his deductus? This is...
Why are you laughing? I'm making serious accusations. -1.
Fucking hell, we're dying here.
You got to be joking right now, right? There's no way you actually believe that.
Nah, I'm just playing with you. I'm a bit of a goofster, right?
You are a bit of a goof, aren't you, Tony? Holy shit.
All right, well, I didn't know Dr. Mickey
why'd you
was...
run away? Why'd you...
Anyway, we're doing a little bit of... Listen, we're doing a little bit of role play. All right, a little bit of role play, not a lot. A little bit of role play. We're doing it. All right. No Pixels got to level up and get improv legends in the mix like Jason Mantzoukas. I don't know what that is. How do you check your hours watch? I think it was in the last in the year-end recap. Can I interest you in a no news all day RP today, sire? No. That accent is still a hate crime and you know it. I think the Irish accent, I'll be honest, the Irish accent is like a very difficult one for me. Not my best, for sure. But I think I'm doing a fairly decent job with it overall.
It's so hot.
All things considered. But yeah, I'll probably dive into No Pixel a little bit earlier today, so fear not for
Get in for sap, everyone.
all the gaming heads and all of the No Pixel heads in general. Oh, Jubilee did a Spectrum video. They haven't done that in a while, I feel like. So I'm excited. Maybe I'll look at that. But overall, you dip into the Tate accent very occasionally, but it's entertaining as hell. Yeah. Year end 2023 con was awesome. Happy New Year. Wrong. Irish is second best behind Italian. Wait, really? You think so? Or are you just kidding? Like, don't be goofing me. Don't be lying to me. You definitely did it okay, like Northern Ireland. Wills is hard for him too. Yeah. Why are you RPing as a real person though? Donio Solo's a real dude. It's a real dude that I know in the real world, but I'm not doing him. I'm doing like a different character. I just named it Donny O'Sullivan. I have a decent German accent, I think, as well. Didn't realize that was Fuseli yesterday with a voice changer. Yeah. So I was watching the VOD last night, and my sister from another room asked if I was watching Jacksepticeye. That's incredible.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Well, yeah, just start doing Irish top of the hours again when you get the accent back. Yeah, maybe.
Hold on,
Maybe.
I want to hold on.
No Pixel was a lot of fun, and you know, definitely enjoyed it. It's just like one of these things. Is, one of the issues, of course, is that I feel like the community doesn't enjoy it as much as I do. Like, and by that I mean the broader community, but like, fuck them. You know what I mean? YOLO. We're still going after it. We're still doing the damn thing. Every January, we seem to almost go to war with Iran, which we stop. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about today. We're going to get to the news in a second. One update I'll give you guys. I worked out finally today. And the thing I noticed in myself...
Waiting for anybody else for SAP?
Time, but I'm going to give you guys TMI. Okay? When I'm on vacation, I eat way more. And when I eat way more, I feel like maybe I'm just like constantly perma-cutting, and it's not good. Because when I eat way more, I find myself first of all, my libido increases. And then also, I could just put up way more weight in the gym. And, like, I came back and I thought I was going to be like 255 or something. I was like really worried about getting on the scale. I'm 249, which is not good. But
is Bemji around?
249.8. But what are you going to do? You know. Just perma bulk, my guy. Yeah, well, I did that. When are you gonna go on TRT? Aren't you 40 now? Yes. So yeah, urge you to respond to the libido comment with something that'll get me banned as strong. Don't do that. Starting TRT when I'm 38. Yeah, I'm planning on getting on TRT when I'm like 35.
The BMG still Africa memes.
So in a couple years.
Okay.
Steroid arc when?
Anyone else are we waiting for?
Oh, this one was funny too. I think like they were surprised because I don't think they know that I used to play roleplay. Like a lot of people don't know that I play roleplay. So they were shocked at how fast I booked it out of there when the cops showed up.
Holy shit.
All right, well, I didn't know Dr.
Anyways,
Mickey
why'd you
was...
run away? Why'd you leave us? Why'd you run away?
Wait, me?
Yes.
What the fuck was I supposed to do? Wait and get fucking arrested? What are you out of your fucking mind?
Okay, I'm gonna start SAP now.
We were gonna head there together. You climbed a wall and went the fuck off elsewhere.
Right, it's called parkour. You should look it up. It's called free running.
Oh, I'm Dr. Ludson.
Concerned carrots.
Yep, that is me.
No, neither of these characters know my old character, Donnie. That's Shoto, and this is Benji, played by, I forget what his username is, but yeah, they don't know my old character. I don't even think Shoto ever played roleplay before. Yeah, I fucking booked it, right?
Holy shit.
You fucking booked
Fucking
Lysium.
man.
You've never heard of an Irish goodbye? Yeah. Aaron Rodgers. I love when people come in the chat and just say a thing that they want me to cover. Yes, we'll cover Aaron Rodgers. Don't worry. The fraudulent Aaron Rodgers, okay? Destroyed my boy's dreams by getting absolutely dominated, destroyed. But yeah, oh wow, everybody.
Polo, what's up? Thank you for the raid.
That's interesting.
We can get it, Rick, if it's
turf is fuck, well,
okay, yeah, sure, fine. One more cat emote.
We're gonna talk about Aaron Rodgers and Jimothy Kimmel.
Oh shit, do we have no more space? Hold on.
Kimothy.
Yeah, we have no more space.
Yeah,
we literally added all of them.
Swift song allegations. I have nothing for that. So, yeah, we'll talk about Karen Rodgers. We'll talk about all of that.
I did not add 25 emotes.
But as far as personal news goes, yeah, I worked out for the first time in like a week plus.
Oh shit. Oh
and
fuck, I forgot to put things up. Oh fuck. Okay. I'm gonna lose.
I've been just taking Kai on structured walks. Ray did not ruin her. I was worried because I'm very anal, like very strict. So I was a little worried when I know
Ms. kept chatting my
Ray's
stream. What?
Incredible dog mom, right? Like she was gonna be great, but I was worried that she was gonna be too nice to Kaya and like spoil her. And no, she actually kept it going.
Really?
How's your strength after a week of not working out? I think my strength is actually better because I took time off and ate a lot. So that's probably, oh God, British cuisine
why was
best
Miss
in the
Kib
world.
in your fucking chat?
It's a war crime. Too nice, that's your daughter, man? Yeah. Some of y'all aren't parents and it shows, okay? Or some of you are very clearly cat parents and it shows. That's no scran. But I recently tried a deload week and I feel good and sore again. Yeah. Yeah, our animals aren't little shits like your dog. Yeah, okay. That's really ridiculous. You're disrespecting Kaya, who is literally a learned dog. Like, this dog is a fucking scholar, okay? She might look like a rug right now. She might look like a rug next to me. But that's a scholar. That's a dog who's graduated. I'm about to start siding with the hate watchers if the cat hate doesn't change. No, I love cats. I'm sorry. I apologize for what I said, please.
That's insane that he got recommended. Interesting, though. Good on you, Vordo.
The dog with a dog turret. Exactly. So, yeah. No One Piece updates for now. I'm all over the Better Call Saul. I'm all over that. But, yeah. We got some news today.
Level 3.
Jeffrey
okay, I'll keep my
Epstein
seahorse.
Names
Ooh. Okay, if they're Jeffrey Epstein's names, I definitely want to watch
today. That. Okay, so get excited for that. A explosion happened in Iran, like at the Qasem Soleimani tribute. The list got pushed till the 22nd.
Oh, the list got put. Okay, never mind. Well.
Oh. It got pushed again? What the hell? Okay, never mind. What's a deload week? Like no lifting at all or just refeed or light activity?
Fuck.
No, deload means when you're, let's say you're doing 225 10 times for 4. On your deload week, you do less weight. You just do less weight. You deload. You take some of the load off. I'm confused. Is in America the protector of capitalist interests? Why would they release the names? I mean, things slip through the cracks every now and then. I'm sure there's some political machinations happening in the background, but the reality is that Jeffrey Epstein associate names being revealed is not necessarily going to do anything to them. You'll be very, I guess, surprised when you find out that I guess it'll be really surprising when you find out nothing comes of it and they don't actually get in trouble even a little bit, because that's how the world works, really.
That is how the world works. Let me see if there's a nice blast off meme for him on Okay Buddy. Let me have a look.
So yeah. What's on his forehead is zip patch. I have a zip patch on my forehead. Harvard drama gives conservatives major W. 2023 Fear and recap video was fire. Hell yeah. Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh God.
Karen Rogers. Drama and more. No Pixel early.
Yeah, there's
today.
nothing on Okay Buddy.
Get in now.
Let me see. I'll find some art. Oh, he's already got. He's
Have
already
you seen
sorted.
Saltburn? If so, thoughts? I have not seen Saltburn. I feel like this is a very big cultural moment. It's like one of those movies that like a lot of people watched and loved, and I have yet to see it. I don't know. What is it, like rich people doing murder and gay stuff, right? It's like murder and sex and things of that nature. Is that what it is? Is that what's going on? Saltburn was a mindfuck. Alright, be gay, do crime. Okay. To be fair, you live Saltburn living in LA. Yeah, I saw like a tweet of someone being like, "Oh, I'm doing the Saltburn challenge," and then there's like a dead person on the ground, like a fake dead person, and then they like run through this big ass house, and people were talking about how big this house is and how rich these people are, and I was thinking, this is exactly what people think I live like, and that house is like 8 of my houses. Spoilers, God, no, this is not a spoiler. I'm telling you a TikTok that I watched that was not about the movie at all. It's not from the movie. Does anyone have a meme for me to blast off with or no? You have a compound? Yeah.
Oh, let me find a meme for him.
When is the next Chav Vice? We'll do it. No, it's a commentary on the dichotomy between the upper class and the middle class in the UK.
The power of Christ You want
Midburn? I
Hold
feel like
on,
everybody
sorry.
always has some issues, you know? I'm gonna get a haircut tonight, by the way, so I'm excited for that. Love the cardigan. Where'd you find that?
I'm just looking at art.
I found the cardigan
Hold on.
in. The cardigan is from Yasuo's brand. I forget what it's called.
I want.
Oh, let me see.
Okay, hold on. Let me just
It'll
get.
say it here somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the logo. Yeah, Yasuo, the Twitch streamer, League streamer. Well, former Twitch streamer, now Kick streamer. Mo. Kick streamer. 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 Ki He was at the dodgeball tournament on the kick team alongside Will. Anyway, here, I blasted off. Explosions are on. Epstein court docs. Harvard drama gives conservatives major W. Jimmy Kimmel, Karen, Rogers drama, and more. No pixel early today, yet and now.
Oh my god.
What the fuck is trending?
No,
right
this
now?
is the weekly.
This TikTok? Yeah, this is the TikTok I was talking about.
Oh damn. Okay, getting eaten by a hippo.
Like, this house is like 8 houses of mine, dude. Like, I assume that people... I think people think this is what my house looks like. Like, that's like a chateau. Same price though? No, this is not the same price. You guys are so silly. No, there is no planet in which this is $3 million. Okay? Like, no, a house of this size, no matter where you are in the world, like it could be in Ohio and it would still be like a 10 million.
I'll have a
house.
look in a bit, Waller.
Okay. You guys greatly
Oh my god. He was
misunderstand like certain concepts. I think it's funny every time someone new comes to your house, they're surprised by how small it is. Yeah. You have chairs on a couch, same. Yeah. It is like yours though, stop denying it. Charlie is gambling black book predictions.
You see, Bet Online is letting people bet money on who will be on the Epstein list. I'm doing that right now. Wait, what? An official betting pool for it? I want to put our guesses on the list. Epstein's
Oh my god.
document list props betting. I don't know if this is like official or not. I have no idea. I don't know how sports
Prop
betting works on
betting?
these sites. So it looks like Donald Trump Sr., Bill Clinton, Bill Gates. I think this one's a guarantee. Very confident Bill Gates.
Yeah, Bill Clinton is like you put $1 in and you're making a cent. Okay, that's a lock. Alan Dershowitz is a lock. Bill Clinton is a lock. Let's be real. Okay. You ever get a house like that? Maybe. Want to get a house like that? I know people talk shit, but would that stop you from buying a house like this? I mean, it's too much house, so probably not. But as my
Okay.
brother
Oh my god, I'm
correctly
just getting
called it,
owned.
I am like outgrowing this house now that I have not one but 2 studios in it. Like I put a podcast studio in here, and I have my studio that I'm in right now.
But I
and then
did
now I
miss like
can't
an
have
original
as
thing.
many guests as I want
Now I'm getting this. Okay.
because like now there's only 2 bedrooms, which is not enough. Because there are moments where I have my mom, my dad, as you guys know, and then also on
Have to
top of that, my
sell.
brother, and then on top of that, I'll have like the Alexes in rotation. You know what I mean?
Let's see.
Second mansion incoming? No, I would not buy a second house. I would. Sounds like you're too confident about Fioran's lifespan.
Oh my god. Or some people just need to
Does
shut
your
the
house not
fuck
have a
up.
basement? No. I know, not to annoy you all day, but luxurious 3.5 million Baton Rouge home. Top news for Baton Rouge today. BatonRougeProud.com. Woman arrested after New Year's Day. Baton Rouge. Photos of the Muirfield drive home. Okay, never mind. Maybe, but like that's not the same as the other place. Like, look at these ugly ass cabinets and stuff. The other house is a 10 millionaire house. No matter what, that's like not the same as this house. Chatter.
Yeah.
Do you not
Okay,
understand
I'm done.
the difference between this?
I'm done.
Like, look at this, and then look at this. Yeah, this is like popping for Baton
Maybe not,
Rouge,
actually.
sure, right? But it's still
Actually.
not this, right? This is very
Okay.
different. Like, look at the roof. Just look at the ceiling alone. There's a freaking living room with like, what is this?
This
a
could fuck up easily,
planetarium or
though.
something? Like, I
Let's
don't know
see.
what the hell this is called.
This is a
Like,
gamble,
this is
though.
ridiculous.
I probably
That's
will
a
lose
nice
this
house.
round if I
It's
include
nice,
that.
Okay,
Fuck
it needs
it.
upgrades. It needs improvements. Okay, but this is definitely like a Baton Rouge mansion, and you're comparing that to like a mansion, right? Yeah, someone in the chat said you're correct. Exactly. This house is a multi-million-dollar wine cellar. You know it.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good,
You know
actually.
for a fact it does. 100%.
The beaver any good? Beaver's pretty good in the beginning.
Imported marble versus drywall. Yeah. That looks like a villa, probably a vacation home. Yeah. Like, look at the accents.
Why is this not disappearing?
Like, this is some shit the Medicis were living in
There we go.
versus, like, you know, some guy who owns, like, 8 car dealerships in Ohio. Right? Crown molding. Is that a fucking skylight ceiling? Yeah, I don't understand how this works, but the woodwork alone is more than that house. It's one of those $7 million houses that are lived in for 28 days a year. Yeah. What is this? Star Woke is a new feminist director and cons are doing the thing. Bro, I'm almost certain that conservatives are keeping the Star Wars genre alive, like the entire thing alive. Because, like, I don't watch any of the movies. I haven't watched a single Star Wars movie.
Okay. Rhino is so OP.
I don't know who watches them. I guess, like, they're still popular. I suspect that the IP is, like, kind of dying out a little bit, kind of drying.
Rhino is
I
amazing.
watched Andor. I liked Andor. Never mind. I watched, like, here, I'll give you an example. I watched Mandalorian. I really liked Andor. I watched Mandalorian. I really liked season 1.
Oh, fuck.
And I think,
Why did I do
yeah,
that?
and season 2 as well, I think it came out. What season is it on now? Like, the latest season or did season 2 just come out?
I guess we take this, like,
How many
just in
seasons
case.
is Mandalorian?
So we
Oh,
want
it's
it to
3
be like
seasons.
this.
I didn't
We
even
want it
know
to
the
be like
third
this.
season came out.
But it's
I
going to
did
be mixed
not
around. Maybe
even
it
know
won't.
the third season had come out.
Okay, not so... Oh,
I don't know what
no.
Disney's doing.
Okay.
I didn't even hear about it until, like, someone, I think I saw, like, a tweet about it or something, and I was like, wow, season 3 came out. Didn't even want to watch it. And for me, it's like, I've always been a firm believer that George Lucas was very good at world building, and I think the universe that he crafted for Star Wars was phenomenal. However, I think the mainline Star Wars films are the worst things that have come out of the Star Wars universe. And I think, like, Knights of the Old Republic, for example, has a significantly better
I've never used this.
story and better lore in general than, like, the original Star Wars. Like, the original trilogy is pretty
amazing.
basic stuff. Now, the original trilogy is sick. I mean, it's basic. The OG trilogy movies are basic. Like, it's good. It's good for what it is, but it's super basic. It's a super basic story. Come on. And it's not bad. I wouldn't say that it's bad at all, right? I watched the first 6 Star Wars movies, right? I watched the prequels and the original trilogy, and they're all great. Especially the OG, the OG trilogy is phenomenal, but it's also it's a very normal story. It's a classic, you know, underdog going up against great odds, that kind of thing, right? So I do feel as though, and I haven't really watched anything else other than the first 6, but I will say that the world in and of itself is genuinely, yeah, it's the hero's journey plotline, exactly. The world in and of itself is actually very solid. So there's so much you can do in that universe. And I don't know why they always go for, like, massive world-changing events rather than something like Andor.
Yeah, if you don't have
Right?
load shedding, it's because you're on the same grid as some Arch Trumpet. It's because you're on the same grid as some like necessary infrastructure, like a hospital, or something that needs electricity all the time. And I know people in Cape Town who are on the same electrical grid as a hospital, and I'm so fucking jealous they have never gotten load shedding. Yes, I did watch the clip. I haven't watched it yet. I've got it up on the deck. We're gonna have a look after
You
this.
can make it a little bit more interesting than the regular hero's journey.
Well, I can check now, actually. Hassan's just talking about boring shit. Hold on. Have a look.
I'm gonna fix it.
This guy's just watching Hassan.
Because they're like, I want to sound intellectual.
Oh my god, what?
Like, why is this somebody recommended?
Oh my god, he's such a bitch.
Leftist, Spanish, Hassan, LGBTQ plus, hyped, chill. I don't watch any of this besides probably just left Hassan Abi. Is this a thing?
Competitive? Bro, that's great.
I'm gonna fix it.
This guy's just watching Hassan.
He's such a dick, dude. Holy moly. Fuck him. It's Mizkiff. Fuck him. Like
His IP has turned into something woke. It's become nonsense. And I think a lot of people mistake the erosion and the never-ending profit-seeking attitude that capitalist megacorporations have in recycling, juggling IP and recycling it with wokeness. Because they're oftentimes fascist pieces of shit and also have no way of analyzing media in general.
it's Mizkiff.
So instead of going, yeah, this kind of sucks. Like, it's just, like, getting worse and worse overall because, like, no one is really interested in making anything new or unique.
Mizkiff is, like, a piece of shit, though, when it comes to smaller streamers. Like, I want you guys to understand, like, when Twitch, what was happening? When Twitch was fucking over small streamers, he was like, yeah, just get better. Like, he's a piece of shit. He really is. He is a piece of shit. Like, there's a reason why... I don't want to get into that fucking drama. He is. He is. Anyway...
Corporations often engage in that IP juggling, IP recycling with, like, you know, race swapping or whatever. Like, they do that, yeah, or gender swapping. Like, they'll be like, yeah, here's the exact same IP, but this time, what if the main character was black? And it's like, okay, yeah, make something new, dog. Come on. Like, instead of beating a dead horse, make something fucking new. I want to see something new, right? And that does make sense. That does genuinely make sense.
No, I wasn't going to mention Maya.
That goes more in line with what I'm talking about. And not what these guys are chirping about.
Is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure. And is that a part of the calculation of your art as well?
I feel like most big
what's
streamers
been
are
the
dicks,
reaction
though.
to that?
Yeah, but Mizkiff is like...
Absolutely. I like to...
He's pretty, like, he shits on the small guy. Like, he's got no solidarity with other streamers whatsoever. Especially smaller streamers. Like, no other streamer. Like, I didn't see a take that mean as his fucking take on, like, smaller streamers just having to fucking suck it up from any of the other big streamers. Like, I haven't seen any take like that from fucking Asmongold. I didn't see a take like that from fucking, from any of, like, the people who you'd assume would make a take like that, like Train or anyone like that. He made a take where it was like, yeah, just like you're a small streamer, like you're gonna get fucked over, and it was like, yeah, you just have to like get better, you know, become a bigger streamer. It was really gross. I can't even remember the context, but I remember being like, oh god, fuck you, holy moly, you piece of shit, dude. It was very, very mean.
and not like the reflection, and then say, maybe there is something wrong with the way I think, or maybe there is something wrong with the way I am addressing this issue.
So what happened? People are mad about this.
Okay,
Here's the
new
feminist
round.
director
New
of the next
round.
Star Wars film saying that her
Audio
goals make
listeners.
men uncomfortable. This movie's destined to be Disney's biggest flop yet. Yeah. Yeah, Matt Walsh is right. This is she said I'm going to use the Star Wars franchise to make men uncomfortable. Be a fucking man is what I say. Okay? Be a
Yes,
man.
it was the revenue split changing. Yes, I think
Why
so.
are you, as a man, not dying in war? Why are you, as a man, chirping about, oh my God, Star Wars is going to make me uncomfortable? Why are you, as a man, getting uncomfortable by watching Star Wars? Movie ain't even out yet, and you're already priming yourself to be upset about your Star Wars. Yeah, you as a man should never be uncomfortable, okay? I love dudes who are just like, Marcus Aurelius Meditations, baby. That's on my bedside, you know? I'm the stoic hero. I have no enemies, you know, that kind of thing. And then except for a female director of the latest Star Wars that's coming out. That you do that to me, you've basically stabbed me in the heart. Okay? I'm a stoic warrior. And what do I like to talk about?
Too stoic. Best emote.
As a stoic warrior, nothing phases me except for when I see a clip out of context about the female director of Star Wars. At which point that is that's the worst thing you could have done to me. Ay, ay, ay. What is this? This dude is so dumb. Oh my God, another Musk tweet from Megaphonics. Snow Woke would be an awesome parody movie, Elon Musk. Can someone please make this parody? It would be so good.
The sun will
Megaphonics,
rise.
Not only is this
the sun will set.
Elon Musk
I'm gonna
tweet
type it.
that my friend Tom clipped, you replied to it, and it's from December 31st. I'm going to ban you again. I swear to God. Chat, remember, Megaphonics has a girlfriend, okay? So if you're alone on this New Year's, something to remind yourself is that despite this kind of behavior, Megaphonics does have a girlfriend. So you can too, okay? Oh, you mentioned yesterday you might want to do the top worst tweets of 2023. The list is here. Ooh,
let's go.
This is some good stuff. Yeah, we'll look at this in a second. I also realized that like one other thing that I used to do more in my commentary was I would just like, instead of doing, you know, straight mainlining news, I would
Anyone
like
else
look
for
at
SAP?
commentary and address some of the talking points and stuff, and I haven't really been doing that. Like, has Ben Shapiro done anything recently? Like, I haven't really heard from him. I haven't even seen anything that Ben Shapiro's done in a while. Do you know Megaphonics personally? No, but but I know he has a girlfriend because he talked about having a girlfriend because he said he watched Little Mermaid with his girlfriend over the
Hold
break.
on.
It's because you just get the commentary from chat? What do you mean? Yeah, I do. Yeah, instead of duking it out with my own chat and silly billies in here, I should be duking it out with Ben Shabibos. Shapipi collaborated with everyone's least favorite movie critic, The Future of Entertainment with a Critical Drinker. Like, what's Shapipi up to? I might not be the only one who's fallen off. I think Big Boy's fallen off a little bit too. Except for the best TikTok reactions. This one banged for Ben. I should probably do this too. Do like top TikTok reactions. Tutu Melon, they're coming for your kids. God damn, these numbers look devastating. 6 million subs to 400K views is still bad. Yeah, but it's about how much they pump.
Hi, Lake. Anybody else for SAP? Otherwise, I'm going to start.
Fox News apparently having record low ratings. Politics engagement down across the board. I know. It's bad. I think Americans are tapping out of politics in general.
I literally said this 2 days
honestly,
ago.
I don't fault them for.
I said this 2 days ago. And you know what? When I was going to get my soda after I'd said that in Hassan's chat, like, I literally said in Hassan's chat, no one is interested in politics in America anymore because things have been fucking promised and no one wants to fucking, like, watch it. And I was thinking, Hassan should just look up the fucking ratings for Fox News and CNN. Probably very, very similar to, like, his own drop in viewership. 100%.
Dog chat.
Okay, anyone else for
lays
Sam?
like this all day, every day. It's crazy. Oh, she heard me talking. Like, better fix my position now. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I teach high school government and even I'm tapping out. No, honestly, I think like, I think a lot of people are just.
I don't even think so for Shizzle. Like, this can't. This is like a rerun.
They feel like
Trump versus Biden. No one gives a fuck.
Like they feel powerless in the face of so many things happening. And of course, if you feel powerless, like at a certain point, you just gotta be like, all right, well, I don't really care.
Yeah, it's just boring.
Like
Like,
the idea that politics was worth engaging with for changing their lives in 2016 and have been consistently materially disappointed since then. Yeah, that is a
people
big
are
lock
tired.
of mine.
Nothing has improved
that
in America.
I will repeat endlessly. Like during COVID, George Floyd protests and whatnot, a lot of people thought, oh yeah, no, politics, like we can change stuff. We take it to the streets, we protest, and then like we'll actually be able to change things. And then they were like, oh, never mind, we can't change anything actually. So
yeah,
why do
they
I
tapped
care?
out.
Why should I care?
Okay, I'm gonna start SAP.
What is this? Yeah, man, people are discouraged when you and a bunch of other people talk about incremental change being impossible in the midst of undeniable incremental change. Yeah, I'm the one who... No, you're right. I'm the one who made Fox News ratings go down. Also, I am a firm believer in incremental change. What you think? We got a war brewing in the region. It's been a shit week to be here. Yeah, but I think Americans in general just don't care, even if there is a war brewing in the region, is what I'm trying to say. To be honest, your fun days and no pixel streams are far more entertaining. I agree. For me, it's not new. Like this inaction is not new for me. After all, I am a leftist. I am not used to getting any kind of reaction from the government for the demands that I make, right? So I've been here for a moment. But I think it's interesting that even like Republicans are kind of losing.
Sakura Gore, do you have an American accent?
Losing
or a German
their
accent?
touch.
Or do you have a mix in between where your accent isn't like nobody can really tell? Or do you have a German American accent? Those do exist.
And also, I know
think someone
that
with a German
Twitter
American accent.
was a place where a lot of discourse used to happen, and it becoming more garbage definitely did taint the discourse happening in general as well. I will say that. I think this is something I brought up.
I have an American one. Oh, okay, interesting.
When
I speak English. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like ruins.
Well, your mother taught you English. There we go, of course.
No fun allowed. Get back to watching people die. Yeah, I mean, it's just draining. Blue Sky's too insular. No, Blue Sky is not even a thing. It's not even a right-wing bias. It's dominated by incels. Yeah. Still not used to seeing Hassan's legs. Yeah. Here they are. Honestly, 2024
Michigan
is the year of the
accent?
hog,
Oh,
but they're
okay.
just gonna pop off way more bombastically for attention this year, like more than ever, and they already do. No,
I imagine a Michigan accent.
Let me
Okay,
tell you
tell
something.
me if I'm wrong. I imagine a Michigan accent to be in between a Minnesotan accent, Minnesota, and a New Jersey accent. Am I wrong?
Cause another Trump turn. The lack
No.
of
Oh, okay.
response from the Democratic
wrong.
Party to the
Not at
alarm
all?
bells ringing
Okay,
about
basically
polls
Canadians.
is legitimately worrisome. And I think that you'll see another, if there's another Trump term, there will be yet another anti-Trump galvanization, I guess. Ethan better be sending you
I
hella
wonder if
Teddy
the
Fresh
K
care
Hive
packages
will,
for Kai Cam advertising
make her
like
come
that.
back.
I mean, yeah, I'm Teddy Fresh out. I'm wearing Teddy Fresh socks right now. ID on the cardigan, I have a Y3 in a similar cut, but it says Y3 on it. I like the design. Looks like
Okay, I know
Biden's
what
going
we're
to
doing.
legalize weed for some help. We might be in the federal legal weed. Breaking. DEA reviewing marijuana's classification per punch bowl. Yes, that would be a solid move from Brandon. I think Dems are assuming they can wait till after Labor Day and run on abortion. Yeah. Do you think Dems' disdain for Trump is fake, like a useful distraction? No, I think Democrats do despise Donald Trump.
They do.
What is this? I think Democrats definitely despise Donald Trump. What do you mean? It's like their one tangible political perspective that unites
The
everybody.
least
is their
astroturfed
distaste
online
for
movement.
Donald Trump. He's got time. He's got a timer, right? So the Supreme Court will challenge it after the election, like with student loan relief. Yeah. They despise Trump, but for all the wrong reasons. It's all protection of the status quo. Yeah, Democrats hate Donald Trump. Like, if you want to understand why Democrats hate Donald Trump, or how Democrats hate Donald Trump, I always go back to that same Chris Murphy tweet thread. Chris Murphy, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, while Donald Trump was president, tweeted out an entire thread. I think he was on the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Yes, there's going to be more
about
stuff.
how Donald Trump had ruined doing soft coups in Venezuela with his incompetence. And to me, that was like a perfect moment. Like a incredibly revealing attitude. Like, Democrats hate Donald Trump. The Democratic politicians hate Donald Trump because he's like incompetent and bombastic and annoying and uses the bully pulpit in like terrifying ways and bad ways. But overall, it's like they don't deviate all too significantly or all that much from his policy framework at all, especially as it pertains to foreign policy or even tax cuts. They hate Donald Trump's economic policy because of his social policy. They don't actually oppose much of the economic policy on his merits. Yeah. Like, that's why. And also, Democrats love being in a position of no power, so they love posturing like they have. They love turning commie under the Trump administration, like Kamala Harris being a loud supporter of Medicare for all. If you recall, like, there were people who would come into my chat, for those of you who are still in here from like before 2020, there were people in 2020 that would come into my chat and tell me Kamala Harris, or in 2018, come into my chat and tell me Kamala Harris is more progressive than Bernie Sanders. Here's a video. Here is an article I read, and here are Kamala Harris's marks on her progressive policy.
Yo, Renna, thank you for the raid.
Like, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard, man.
Thanks, Renna. Oh, nice new emote. Okay, hold on, let me do this.
I don't believe that for a moment. Most of Brandon's policies are old Trump holdovers. We'll see more of that manifest as well, definitely. I mean, that's how it always works. Republicans push the country to the right, and then Democrats basically either stop it or calcify that right-wing shift. They make that right-wing shift permanent. They normalize it. And then Republicans come back in, they push it further right, and Democrats run against it and then don't actually end up reverting back to the norm.
There you go.
Or pulling the country back to the left and just basically keep it right there, or move the Overton window a little bit more in a more marginal way. That's devastating. But yeah, this is the tweet. Then it got real embarrassing. In April 2019,
well done, Becca.
we tried to organize a kind of coup, but it became a debacle. Everyone had told us they'd rally to Guaido, got cold feet, and plan failed publicly and spectacularly, making America look foolish and weak. You make it sound like the Republicans are the trendsetters.
Yeah, I already posted that in Hassan's chat.
Under a capitalist organization of the economy, the reactionary elements are the trendsetters. If you can't recognize that, I don't know what to tell you. One story that I covered briefly yesterday is a phenomenal example of how Republicans are the trendsetters when it comes to politics in this country. What do I mean by this? Sure, liberals themselves might own culture. They might own Hollywood, right? Overall, that part is true. Right? You can maybe move the needle on in terms of social justice a little bit. However, when we think about like how much of the political arena is dominated by right-wing reactionary rhetoric in the face of Democratic Party incompetence.
Call it tricks.
I mean,
got him.
Think about every single thing that we talk about. Claudia Gay and her resignation from Harvard is an example of this. Right? Trans women in sports and trans girls in high school athletics is another incredible example of this. CRT in schools and how we must stop it is another example of this.
Damn.
When reactionaries don't have something to fight against, like Democrats genuinely putting forward progressive legislation that
Am I
they
just gonna
have
get
to
bodied like
actively,
consistently? Yeah, I think so.
undermine and actively push against, they end up dominating the conversation. And when they dominate the culture, when they dominate the political sphere, well, what are they going to do? They're going to do the one thing they know how, which is pull back on social liberties, pull back on civil liberties, and continue fighting, finding new enemies, finding new villains. And they'll do it even if they don't have a real audience for it. They'll set it up for the future. So, on that note, let's get to, I guess, a different part of the world.
Is it live?
Iran,
Hello.
specifically. That's going to be the top news story of today. One, Israel killed the deputy chief of Hamas in Beirut in a residential neighborhood only yesterday. And today, this is we don't know if this is Israel or not, but today there was a massive explosion in the Qasem Soleimani Memorial in Iran.
We're getting word that more than
Let's take a look.
100 people were killed, 140 injured after two blasts struck near the grave of the Iranian military commander, the late Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani. Iranian state media captured the moment that one of the
Why would it be Israel? I didn't say this was Israel. It could be, but I did not say that. I said the one in Beirut was Israel. There is a likelihood that this is Israel as well, but I don't know.
Yep.
I don't.
Been near very crowded streets.
Yep. 100%. Like, there's no. Yeah. Like.
You can hear the fear and the screams there. According to Iranian state media, officials describe the explosions. They are calling these explosions a terror attack. CNN's Nada Bashir is following this for us. Nada, what is the latest?
Well, this is certainly a developing story, John. We are still getting more details from officials and media on the ground in Iran. But in the last hour or so, we have seen that death toll steadily rising. At least 103 killed and 141 injured, according to state media in Iran, citing officials on the ground. Some of those injured are said to be in a critical condition, and we have seen that dramatic footage emerging from the scene, showing crowds running away from the site of the blast. We've seen ambulances and emergency services gathering, rushing people to nearby hospitals. Now, of course, we are still getting more details around the specifics around these twin blasts, according to state media, again citing officials on the ground. The first blast took place about 700 meters away from the burial site of the late Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani. The second blast took place about a kilometer away from the checkpoints and path in which
I don't know why they put the terror attack in air quotes. Like, what are they? Like,
I think you guys are picking
they
up
saying,
on
like
the,
it might not be a terror attack? Like,
there's
what
a
is
fan
it?
like right on my face, and when it's right on my face, like
was
there's
it not
stuff
an
that comes.
explosion? I don't understand.
It's weird. It shouldn't. Okay.
But hey, listen.
I haven't noticed. I notice. I look at the little.
They're quoting the
sound
Iranian
thing.
government. I guess maybe that's the reason. The thing is. The thing is, like, it could be, this could be Israel, this could be CIA, this could be Kurdish militia groups.
I don't hear it over a
something. I don't know,
song.
it could
Yeah,
be,
I think it's like
internal anger as well.
We'll see.
If I were to, I'm not a gambling man, but if I were to place a bet on who is the most likely culprit, I would most likely say it is maybe not even the CIA, really. I feel like it's domestic terror for some reason. Yeah, it could be. It could be domestic terror. It could be because, like, I mean, you got to look to who is, who does not favor Qasem Soleimani. So I don't know.
Passing through to visit the burial site. Now, important to note that there would have been huge crowds at the time of these blasts. Today marks 4 years.
Like, but if it's MEK backed, militants or something like that, then it's America, 100%. Like then it's, then it turns into absolutely an American invention.
Since the commander Qasem Soleimani was killed in a U.S. strike on Baghdad International Airport, ordered by then U.S. President Donald Trump. So we would have been expecting to see huge crowds around there. And of course, this comes at a time of heightened tensions in the region. And while we are still waiting to get more details around the specifics of the motive, perhaps behind the attack, who may have...
Bro, he's dead. It's not about him. It's about hitting a place where there's a lot of people. No, I know that. But the symbolism is that it's not just his grave that they blew up. It's his grave that they blew up during the commemoration, which implies that it's going to be mostly his, supporters. People who support the Iranian government, people who supported Qasem Soleimani. Because when you're engaging in an act of terror, you have to figure out, like, there's a lot of symbolism at play. You figure out what your target is, and then you think about, like, who's going to be there, who the victims are going to be there. They're not just, like, blowing up a random mall. They're very specifically looking at a commemoration, or I guess it's not really a funeral, but it's in his grave site, right? So there's a reason. Like, acts of terror always have a reason. They might be bad reasons, right? And in plenty of instances,
this weekly is difficult.
Great, but if you're targeting his memorial service,
Yeah, I'll be back in a second. I
you
need
have
the
to
bathroom.
look to who the victims are going to be, the overwhelming amount of civilians that are dying as a consequence of this. You have to look at what their ideological goals are, what the goals of the regional actors might be if they are involved in it. And that's something to consider. That's why I said, like, it's got to be someone who's positioned. It's got to be a group that is ideologically positioned against Qasem Soleimani and against Qasem Soleimani's supporters.
Carried out the attack. Iranian state media, again citing officials, have characterized this as a terrorist attack. But again, there are tensions mounting around the region, particularly when it comes to groups that are either allied to or backed by
Like this is a ridiculous way to frame it though. Like what do you mean? You think like this was Hamas loyalists or something? Like that they blew up Iran? This is like the classic American. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say I know who the fuck did this. But it is so ridiculous. They did this exact same thing with the pipeline, with the Russian pipeline. Oh, they must have blown up their own pipeline. And it's like, what are you saying? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, sure, we're speculating at this point, but it's insane to me that if you're going to engage in speculation, that you're going to immediately not think about who has what to gain, and your analysis is just going to be, it must be Iran did it to themselves, actually. Or an Iranian backed militia group is now hitting back at Iran because they're mad at Iran or something.
By Iran. That is certainly the case here in Lebanon. We are today expecting to hear from the Secretary General of the Iran-backed group Hezbollah. Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah expected to speak in just about an hour or so. So we will be waiting to see what he has to say about the situation in Iran and, of course, commemorating the death of Qasem Soleimani. Important to note, of course, that this is just a day after we saw another attack here in Beirut, in the building behind me. A senior Hamas commander, Salah al-Aruri, killed in a strike on Tuesday evening.
Also, possible false flag attack? Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Like, I'm looking at every option in a situation like this, but I will say that is the least likely, one of the less likely versions of events. Why? Let's think about it.
Why?
One, it is very likely that it is an act of domestic terror, right? That is definitely much higher in likelihood than it being a false flag. Why? One, currently as it stands, when you look at the Houthis, right? When you look at the Yemen, when you look at the army in Yemen and their operations in the Red Sea, this is profoundly popular. It is very well received by the entire Muslim world. Okay? Their blockade on the Red Sea has been incredibly popular. Iran knows this. Iran sees this. Iran is backing the Houthis. Houthis are able to do this with Iranian backing. So Iran doesn't necessarily need additional reasons as to why they're going to attack Israel right now. They could simply, from the jump, utilize the Israeli actions in Gaza as the reason, right? They could have done it from day one, but something stopped them from retaliating against Israel after October 7th. Okay? My speculation on the matter, and we do have very limited information on this, is that I think behind closed doors, and sometimes even publicly, the Biden administration was working on at least cooling the tensions between the United States and Iran, and that Iran was responding positively to the cooling of the tensions and the potential normalization. This is why every single regional actor, including Israel and the United States of America, and even Iran itself, openly stated that they had nothing to do with October 7th.
Popcorn is so good.
On October 8th, every single regional actor immediately came out and said, and every single superpower that is involved in this said, Iran has nothing to do with October 7th. They would not do that if there was no genuine effort to basically cut a deal or try to at least cool tensions and try to normalize relations with Iran in general. Even Israel said, we don't believe Iran is responsible for October 7th. And remember, we are talking about, at least with Israel and the United States of America, two countries that blame Iran for everything, okay? Even things that Iran definitely didn't do. I mean, guys, after 9/11, George W. Bush put Iran in the axis of evil. even though the people that we were fighting were against
Okay.
after 9/11 were
Fuck this weekly.
Salafist militias,
Motherfuck
Wahhabi
this weekly.
militias
Okay.
that Iran also has been fighting in the region in perpetuity.
Let's
and
do
still fights to this day.
the chat votes pack. Okay. Chat votes on this. Let's have a look at what it looks like.
Having said all of this, when you know how much the American government loves blaming Iran for everything and anything, the fact that they immediately said Iran was not responsible for October 7th, outside of obviously the regular maintenance,
There we go.
the regular militia training and stuff like that they offer, or the weapons that they offer to Hamas, is pretty significant, right? So what is happening now? What is happening
new lobby.
now? Why did this happen? There could be conflicting, competing, ideologically bound or materially bound groups within our intelligence network. There's always been the John Bolton types within the CIA that have made it their primary mission to inevitably, bring the war to Iran and pull America into a regional conflict with Iran. So there is that, right? That could be that could possibly be one alternative as to who's responsible for this. MEK is the American and Mossad-backed faction within Iran that is supposed to be like the political group that we utilize there. You then also have obviously Israel, which in different instances has not been shy about assassinating people, Iranian scientists, and maybe even doing operations inside those borders as well, including in neighbors in the region. And of course, as we talked about with the surgical strike in Beirut only yesterday against the Hamas deputy chief, you could see Israel trying to expand the conflict and try to get America more involved at a time when America is like kind of pulling away a little bit, right? So that could be another reason. That could be another motivation for it potentially being something that Israel did, or it could be
what is this pack?
An act of domestic terror.
You'll see, it's a surprise. Chat vote on this pack. This is chat. I like to call it. It's like chat at Christmas. It's like the all of the animals you want. You know what I mean? It's gonna be insane.
As it stands right now,
we're gonna start in a minute.
I'm not ruling out any possibilities. So let's continue.
According to a U.S. official, that strike was.
Motherfuckers said America is pulling a little bit from Israel. Yes, I meant like the carrier. One of the carriers is leaving the Mediterranean Sea, and yes, like Israel itself is also shifting troops, and lowering troop presence in Gaza. So that all spells that like tactics are changing. It's no longer going to be as
I'm in.
heavy
Okay.
on the
Anyone
ground
else? Are we
invasion front
waiting
in Gaza?
for anyone else?
Carried out by Israel. Hamas certainly pointing the finger squarely at Israel, but at this stage, Israeli officials neither claiming responsibility nor denying responsibility for that strike. John?
Obviously, a number of developments in that region. Nada Bashir, thank you for being there. Keep us posted.
And let's discuss this further. Joining us now
Okay,
is retired
let's go.
Brigadier General Steve Anderson. General, good to have you today. First, just your reaction to this news out of Iran. The timing of this, especially on this day, as Nada mentioned, 4 years after the death of Soleimani. What do you make of this?
Well, thank you, Rahel.
Why would Israel pull troops out of Gaza? Are those troops getting ready for something else? I mean, it could be recirculating troops. I think they're lowering the number of reservists that they have in Gaza because it's very expensive to keep them there. And it's also costly because they keep dying. So, those are the reasons why they're just going to go back to like tactical surgical airstrikes, and then and more limited special forces operations within Gaza. At least that's what I understand Israel is claiming that they want to do. Or they could also potentially move some of the troops over to the northern border. Maybe they're preparing for not a ground invasion necessarily, but like maybe they're preparing for military operations coming in from Lebanon.
fucked,
Who
seismic.
knows? What is a surgical airstrike? I mean, it's like more precise weaponry being used. So, you know, these are all different opportunities, I guess. These are all different. There's many different actors here, and there's different motivations. It could be a lot of different people. They're waiting on a 7-front war. I mean, what? Are you aware of the hell and terror Iran unleashes in the Middle East and inside Iran every day? It seems like you're an Iran apologist. Is quite worrying to listen to. I don't know how you arrived at this conclusion at all. I don't know how you arrived at this conclusion unless you think that like me giving you factually accurate information about Iran fighting against like Al Qaeda or ISIS is in your mind somehow inappropriate and should not be mentioned at all. That fact is true. Iran operating as a religious theocracy is also true. Okay? But, you know, two things can be true at the same time.
Obviously of great concern.
Through their proxy groups and terror on the Balakua and Kurds, daily executions and torture. Yeah, as far as their proxy groups goes, I quite literally mentioned the Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah. I don't know what you're talking about. As far as like what they are doing, do I align politically with the Houthis? No. Do I think that what the Houthis are doing in terms of the blockade that they've implemented in the Red Sea being a profoundly successful move by a group of individuals that have come out of a genocide that our other regional ally, Saudi Arabia, was engaging in with our weapons? Yeah, no, I think that's something that a lot of other regional power players claim that they want to do, like Erdogan, and don't actually do. Anyway,
that tensions.
Having said that, none of this makes it appropriate for 100 plus civilians to die in Iran in a terror attack near the Soleimani grave.
Could escalate, and there would be more bloodshed, and somehow what's going on in the Gaza Strip escalates to something much bigger. But I can tell you right now, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the United States had absolutely nothing to do with this. My suspicion is that this is an internal issue within Iran.
Okay, dude.
Particularly if you look at what was targeted, Soleimani, who was taken down 4 years ago by the United States. But the last thing we want to do is take out civilian casualties like this.
I mean, it could be true, but also
everything's already on edge.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Was targeted, Soleimani, who was taken down 4 years ago by the United States. But the last thing we want to do is take out civilian casualties like this and to escalate tensions. I mean, everything's already on edge right now.
When I think about,
I'm still upset that I didn't get Bhutan, by the way.
Taking out civilian casualties.
Like earlier with that travel, like I literally knew the country. Like I literally knew. I told you. I described geographically where it was. It was that small country, and I just didn't know the name. Fuck.
In 20 minutes, I give you a 3-minute ad break. I don't exercise restraint at all. I give it to you willy-nilly. Sometimes 20 minutes in, sometimes directly at the top of the hour. But the outcome is still the same. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. It is additionally ironic that this general here is talking about exercising restraint on a civilian population when one thing that the United States does so frequently that is almost as damaging, if not sometimes more impactful than direct acts of terror like blowing up a civilian population, is sanctions. Okay? Is sanctions. Something that, for some weird reason, the media rarely ever covers with the same framework. Okay? We never think about that. Sanctions in Iraq caused 500,000 deaths.
Yeah.
Okay? Sanctions in Iran, I don't even know what the numbers would look like. But sanctions play the exact same role that a direct act of terror would, in the sense that the goal for terrorism and terrorists is to cause instability. The main motivation is to do violence upon a civilian population, so much so that they turn on the regime, right? That's the goal. Or to meet the demands of the terror cell, to have the regime meet the demands of the terror cell and capitulate to whatever those demands might be. Okay? Also, here's the German outbreak now. So, that's one. Sanctions work in a similar capacity. It's an act of collective punishment. It's just seen as like a totally permissible act of collective punishment because, well, which country can actually implement sanctions, global sanctions? Well, the United States of America. And the United States of America can do whatever it wants. And, you can't really complain about that at all. So, oh, yeah, by the way, the sanctions that I'm talking about aren't even the George W. Bush ones. The sanctions that I'm talking about killed at least 500,000 Iraqi civilians during Clinton's time in office. Yes. The U.S. wants war, is a dwindling empire propping up its economy with its military. I don't. Do you think his analysis here is wrong, though? What would America have to gain by doing this? It would be a huge risk. No, genuinely curious. I don't think you're wrong. That's why I said it could be a rogue faction within the intelligence apparatus that could be potentially responsible for this. Because there are certainly a lot of thirsty boys in the American State Department that have made their entire career wanting to pull America into war with Iran. But I don't believe that America stands to gain from pulling Iran into the conflict. I would say that Israel has more to gain, I guess, from pulling Iran into the conflict and therefore pulling America back into the conflict in a more meaningful way. I don't think America has the bandwidth currently to fight multiple proxy wars around the world, especially as it stands currently. Like, especially with our influence waning globally and the runway that we have for more weapons manufacturing. Unless we turn around and have a World War II style war economy where all matter of manufacturing, all manner of our productive forces turn into developing weapons and missiles and rockets and guns and bullets. Beyond that, it's going to be quite difficult to maintain. With the United States of America's current output, it's going to be quite difficult to maintain a war like this. America likes war, of course. We are an economy that thrives on it, right? It's our remaining global manufacturing. Military-industrial complex is profoundly powerful, very important to the American economy. However, having said that,
cow and waffles,
there is definitely a limit to how much war we can engage in. We love proxy wars, but we don't necessarily we can do only so much proxy wars. I mean, you see it. You see it right now. The reasons as to why the United States government is now saying we got to dial back.
I did not know about
what's going on in Ukraine, because what's going on in Israel takes precedent here.
I'd like to read about it,
is
though.
not because we don't have enough money. Money is fake. It's because we don't have enough bullets. And by bullets, I mean just like ammunition of different sorts. I mean missiles and dumb rockets and smart rockets. Like we don't have the arsenal to keep up 2 proxy wars on 2 different fronts where, everyone's getting depleted. Does that make sense?
It's stupid.
This is the first time I'm seeing our government in Iran not sure who did it and not pointing fingers yet. Yeah.
After the assassination yesterday of al-Ruari in Beirut, and so there's no way the United States is behind this, and I suspect Israel as well. So again, my inclination is this is an internal issue within Iran because they have a lot of competing factions within that country.
And as you mentioned, I mean, that senior Hamas leader who was killed in southern Beirut, how does that complicate any conversations or negotiations about the hostages who are still in Gaza?
Well, it does complicate that significantly. I would point out, though, that no doubt the Israelis are behind this, but it was a precision attack. And they very rightfully just targeted
chat, bro. I told you, it's literally
and 2 of his compatriots.
We're going to do one more round of SAP and then we're going to do Elden Ring, okay?
Casualties. And so their focus has been on Hamas. And I think they've made that very, very clear.
And my electricity is going to go out at 12, but I might go live again at 2 a.m.
Because pretty much every single person, with the exception of Israeli PR,
which sucks,
immediately was like, yeah, Israel killed the Hamas deputy chief, and then
even
confirmed,
Mark
probably Regev himself was like, oh, it wasn't Israel, but whoever did it, whoever killed the guy in Beirut, this is the thing that I was talking about yesterday. Okay, the Hamas deputy chief that was assassinated in Beirut yesterday. Like, well, whoever did it was really angry at Hamas, it seems, and they did a really good job. They did a really good job of how precise they were in targeting this one guy.
Trying to minimize casualties in Beirut. I've been there a couple of times the last couple of years, and it's a very vibrant city, but everybody knows, where the Hezbollah areas are, where the Christian areas are, where the Shia or the Sunni areas are. And so everybody knows that this is not, this is where Hezbollah is hanging out, so to speak, and where Hamas, I'm sure that the headquarters there was well known. So the fact that they took it out and they minimized the casualties they did, I think is a good sign that Israel's doing everything they can to take down Hamas without escalating tensions further.
What are you going to be listening for? Not to mention.
He's like, wow, they're so impressive at assassinating people in a vibrant city. That's what we're doing now. God, it's so crazy to me that what is seen as like normal and valid and allowed has changed so dramatically, and I can't be alone in thinking that this will have devastating consequences. Like, this does not seem like a good thing, to me at least, from where I'm standing, where you got American officials looking at what Israel is doing and going, wow, how wonderful that they struck a totally foreign nation.
You're allowed to circumvent load shedding behind
and like the heart
I've got a
of
backup
this
power
country,
supply. It just can't
one of the
run
more
a fucking
densely populated areas of this foreign nation,
for 2 hours.
and conducted a direct assassination, and not with like even a targeted hit squad, but directly with munitions. But they hit the Capitol and did such a good job of killing just, a couple of people.
Okay.
That in and of itself is ridiculous. That's like America stuff. I mean, Israel's done it in the past, but not this aggressively, in my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like in the past, America would at least look at other countries doing America shit and be like, maybe you should dial it back. Not say it's actually awesome and you did a A+ job. Good job, Israel. Fuck yeah.
And in the next hour or so, we expect to hear from Hassan Nasrallah. Certainly, when he speaks in this environment, a lot of people pay attention. I mean, what are you going to be listening for when he speaks?
Well, Well, obviously, we want to minimize Lebanon's involvement in this, and that's what I'll be listening for. How does he attribute this attack, and what is he calling his people to do? There's already a lot of tension on the northern border of Israel, and of course, there are 40,000 missiles aimed at Israel from north in the Lebanese area and Hezbollah-controlled areas. So I'm going to be looking for. What is he calling, his compatriots at Hezbollah?
America's wholesale endorsement of the Israel atrocities is decimating its soft power with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Not only that.
I don't have enough scale.
But it's also the fact that the American administration has done such a bad job. Like, if Donald Trump was doing this, the media would be cutting his ass, okay? They would be making mincemeat out of Donald Trump. Can you imagine the Trump administration and its State Department saying, Israel, you need to cut it out. You need to dial it back. And then Israel is like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that, dog. And then they kill, like, I don't know, like 100 children the next day. And then Donald Trump secretly sends weapons to Israel, despite the fact that it's simultaneously saying, Israel, cut it out. If it wasn't Joe Biden, if it was Donald Trump doing this, which, by the way,
still
I think
replaces
Donald Trump would do this, for the record. I have no reason to believe that Donald Trump would do anything different than Joe Biden in this regard. Maybe even somehow make it worse. Okay? But the idea that the media would not be covering this wall to wall is ridiculous. Okay? What?
What is he asking the folks in the West Bank?
Yeah, okay, well done.
In support of
I
Hamas.
just like the scaling is just terrible.
Further, what is he
My
saying to
scaling
his
was terrible.
leadership in Iran? Because, of course, Iran is behind all of these activities. What I want to see is hopefully a de-escalation of tensions and a recognition that Israel did everything they can to minimize casualties and focus only on Hamas leadership.
We're going to begin with some big news.
Here's obviously the escalating tensions from Beirut between Hezbollah. Hassan Nasrallah is obviously the person that they're looking at right now. The person that the guy talked about, Hassan Nasrallah, is the general secretary, right? I think I said his rank correctly, of Hezbollah. And Hezbollah controls certain parts of Lebanon.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
So
Richard's
Hezbollah
got a
will
good-
do everything they can to minimize civilian
good thing
casualties and only
going.
focus on idea of leadership. Surely that guy wouldn't be upset about that, right? Yeah, obviously. Like, the reality is that everyone has their biases in this regard, in this situation. And I think that, of course, the American government's biases lie with Israel. They don't care that Israel is killing a shit ton of civilians in Gaza, and they don't care that that Israel is also attacking Lebanon. They would just stop the money faucet. They'd stop the weapons faucet. You know what I mean? But they haven't. And the fact that they haven't shows me that they are interested in continuing this.
And they indicted me.
News out of the Middle East, major developments in the war there. A senior Hamas commander killed in Lebanon, an explosion in Beirut, the capital of that country. Several other members of that Palestinian militant group also killed in the blast. You see it on your screen. It's led to concerns that the conflict between Israel and Hamas may now be expanding. Ian Lee is in the West Bank, where there has been a very public and angry reaction to all of this. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. Protests erupted behind me in the occupied West Bank city of Ramallah after last night's assassination of a senior Hamas leader in Lebanon, an attack that threatens to further inflame the region. An explosion killed 7 Hamas militants in southern Beirut Tuesday night. including Salah al-Aruri, a senior commander and one of the founders of the group's military wing, also wanted by the Israelis and Americans. Israel isn't commenting on the attack, but Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah vowed revenge on Israel, stoking fears of a war with the Lebanese militants. One analyst, Seema Shine, said
the U.S. had to have advanced knowledge of this strike. The one in Lebanon, they said they did not. The United States actually came out and said Israel did not warn us ahead of time that there was going to be a strike. First of all, if they had to have advanced knowledge of the strike, you would have heard from Canada, the United States, and the UK specifically pulling out their diplomats from the embassies. Okay? Usually, if there's prior communication between obviously allies, they will pull out they will take the initiative and pull out some of their more high priority diplomats. So I think that's probably that, paired up with the fact that the United States did come out and say they did not inform us ahead of time. And then Israel came out and said we told them as it was happening, implies that they actually did not give them prior warning that they were going to do this, which once again is more of a example of America's influence diminishing a little bit. Even with all of our allies, a bunch of them are fake friends, is what I'm saying. Okay? I think they're fake friends. We give them so much stuff. We use so much of our revenue, so much of our money specifically on allowing these guys to continue their own pet projects,
so
whether it be genocide in Gaza or elsewhere.
Really,
and then they turn around and do whatever the hell they want to do. It's crazy.
says would look very different to the fight against Hamas. If you were to compare Hamas's capabilities with Hezbollah's capabilities, how would you compare the two?
10 times more.
Yeah.
That's no question. Hezbollah is a huge army, very close to Israeli villages and cities.
Yeah, it's not even a question. Like you're talking about way larger capabilities. These are not bathtub bombs that they're working with. Hezbollah has a huge army. Yes, of course. Not only do they have a decent army, but they also have a very well-trained and very experienced army as well.
It is too good.
Yeah. Bro, Hezbollah has fiber internet. I didn't even know. First of all, as you guys know, I don't have fiber internet. But turns out Hezbollah has fiber optic internet. They have their own closed circuit. Okay? That's crazy to me. So yes, there is a difference in the capabilities, like the targeting and the striking capabilities that Hezbollah has in comparison to Hamas.
L
of
for
course.
American infrastructure than it is this country is like really
from Lebanon to Yemen, where
this
Iranian
country's
backed
very
Houthi
advanced.
rebels fire missiles and drones
I just want to make that very clear. Having fiber internet is more this is like well done guest. I don't know who the guest is more of an L for America than it indicates like this country's very advanced. I'm just saying.
The Houthis say they'll stop the attacks if Israel stops its war
last
against
game.
Hamas. But Israeli leaders say the war could last throughout 2024, vowing to fight until Hamas
I'm
is
in Switzerland
destroyed.
and I don't have fiber.
For many Gazans,
I
that
mean-
means more misery in tent cities away from home. Those who go back...
It is pretty interesting that, like, the difference in perspective.
That's very
and the difference in
unique
coverage
for
when,
the
like,
EU.
Like, when we talk about sanctions, we think about it as though it's just a decision that's made by, by paper pushers, right? And in many ways it is. But that decision only holds weight because America has the military power to back it up. right? It has the economic power to back it up, and it also has the military power to enforce it.
No, I'm
when the
saying
Houthis
having fiber, America not having fiber is more of an L for the US than it implies that any other country that has it is more advanced. It's just more like Hezbollah having fiber over like Hasana having fiber is more indicative of how like bad America is investing in any sort of infrastructure. Then it indicates like a certain country is advanced for having it.
Which is outside of America's reign of interest and is not aligned with the United States of America and is doing it to an ally of the United States of America, that's when you understand what it looks like when you actually implement a blockade.
Find not much to return to. I wish I died with them. That would have been better than living like this, says this man who lost his family. But many Palestinians will continue to live like this even after the war is over.
There's also been a sharp increase in Israeli raids here in the occupied West Bank. Since October 7th, more than 300 Palestinians have been killed by the military, as well as settler attacks. Nate.
Ian Lee in the West Bank, thank you.
This news is funded by viewers like you. Please support our work at democracynow.org/give. William Rabbani, I want to ask you about your new piece from Amanda Weiss, headlined "The Long History of Zionist."
I've always said the ultimate terrorist weapon is a nuke, and only one country has ever dropped a nuke and done it twice. People have the audacity to say we're not a terrorist state. Yes, America is a terrorist state. Hassan Piker, are you a progressive or a liberal? I'm neither. I'm a reactionary conservative, brother. What? How are we a terrorist state? Lieber Jews?
Hezbollah.
How is the United States a terrorist state? It depends on what your definition of terrorism is. If you consider terrorism to be an act of violence against a civilian population, collective punishment, then the United States of America is the most successful terrorist on the planet. Okay? Osama bin Laden could not ever imagine
for SAP, we're going to start in like
the amount of terror that the United States of America engages in. Now, notice how instead of addressing what I said, because I gave you the dignity to respond to your question,
Diamani, that's literally because I'm connected to EU servers.
What about
I'm not even
China?
kidding. It's literally because I'm connected to like either
China?
a British, French, or Spanish server.
Does it seem to, where did the China thing come from? You just cannot address the issue on its own. So try to address the issue on its own before going into when China isn't. Go ahead. I hope BRICS alters the dynamic. No, there's no altering the dynamic with BRICS. Come on, guys.
Literally British streamer. Okay, dude.
Anyway, Hassan is a BRICS denier. Lamafao. I'm just a BRICS realist. Okay, that's it. Is there even an argument that we are not a terrorist country? No, that's why that chatter immediately resorted to, well, what about China? There is no argument that the United States of America is not a terrorist nation. That's precisely why immediately people go, oh, what about China? What about Russia?
Anyone else for SAP? I'm going to start in like a minute.
That's it. Because the goal in that circumstance is for me to turn around and be like, well, Xinjiang is one thing. But despite that, as far as like conflict overseas goes, America is still, pound for pound, definitely more devastating on the planet than China is, right? So then when I bring that up, it's like, oh, look at him. He's defending China. He loves China. He thinks everything that China is doing is great. And then you have successfully moved the conversation away from America's acts of terror and why America is a terror nation to why Hassan is a Chinese asset. And he's biased, and he's a campist, and he's anti-American. He's anti-American tanky. All he knows is America bad. I didn't say China good, right?
Ready?
I just don't understand why people have to go to extremes with how we act around the globe. Did we kill civilians in Afghanistan and Iraq?
Warten
yeah,
wir
but
auf,
that isn't terrorism.
noch jemanden spiele?
Okay. Do you consider what Hamas did to be terrorism then? Or do you think that what Hamas did on October 7 is not an act of terror then? Because under your designation of terrorism, I think it's always terrorism if it's America's enemies engaging in acts of violence towards civilian populations. But it's not? You don't think October 7 was an act of terrorism? Okay, well then I don't know what you think an act of terrorism is. Never mind, I was wrong. I thought this was just like a regular American exceptionalist. Turns out he's just a terrorism maximalist. 9/11? Why is 9/11 an act of terror, but October 7 isn't? He doesn't think October 7 is an act of terror. He's terror maxing.
Computers.
But 9/11 is? This is a very unique take, Weber Juice. I'm interested to hear more from you. You seem like an interesting person. I've never heard this, like all of these takes in succession from an individual before. Like a person that says October 7 and Hamas is not engaging in an act of terror while simultaneously saying 9/11 is an act of terror is very interesting. I don't know where it's coming from. Anyway. For the record, this is a Cy Hirsch. They're living in a prison camp. Hamas is justified. 9/11 wasn't. Damn, this guy's awesome. That's crazy, dude. That's a crazy take, brother.
What?
No, October 7 can absolutely be considered under the umbrella of an act of terror. Yes, they are living in a prison camp. And yes, they broke out of said prison camp. But yes, they still indiscriminately killed civilians, which, in my opinion, I think is a better analysis on what could be considered an act of terror.
I agree. That is a good way to think of.
Categorize 9/11 as an act of terror. Categorize the United States of America as a sponsor, the leading sponsor of and the disher outer of acts of terror globally. I think my parameters on what constitutes an act of terror is a little bit better than yours. Most coherent American swing voter? Yeah, it's awesome. He says 9/11 was an act of terror. The Iraq-Afghanistan wars were not an act of terror, and 10/7 was not an act of terror. So was 9/11 the only act of terror in history? I think so. By your definition, war is terrorism? I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
The only difference between war and terror is that terrorism is a political designation afforded to non-state actors. That's it. It's a way to deny habeas corpus and regular due process to the people that you're prosecuting. And it's also a very effective way to propagandize against non-state actors that you consider to be adversaries.
Nelson Mandela mentioned coming up.
But yes. War is terror, of course. The only difference, however, is that terrorism as a designation is only afforded to those who are non-state actors or foreign adversaries of the United States. That's why Israel's actions in Gaza are not considered terror by the American standard or by the global standard. However, Russia's actions, Russia's actions in Ukraine are. Russia's actions in Ukraine are considered war crimes and acts of terror.
No,
Hamas's
he
actions
didn't.
are considered acts of terror. Israel's actions are not considered acts of terror. I guess you could argue the point of 9/11 was to terrorize the civilian population. October 7 was to release Palestinian hostages and gain leverage against the Israeli government. Do you think there can be just wars? Yes, I do. And do you believe that there can be no civilian casualties, or will even a just war be terrorism? Yes, I do believe that there can be just wars. However, peace should always be the first option that people try to exhaust as best as possible. Many wars nowadays are not just, though. They're unjust. Like, I'll give you an example. As long as not a single person is harmed, okay, what Houthis have done in the Red Sea would be just. If your goal is to try, without any casualties whatsoever, try to conduct economic harm on a regional actor that is significantly more powerful than you by any means necessary, that would be a just act. Okay? America's retaliation to that was to kill some of the Houthis immediately. I would consider that to be unjust. A lot of people, however, looked at that situation and went, that's awesome that they did that. Fuck around and find out. I saw like even people who are ostensibly on the left, I guess, or supposedly on the left, saying things like, yeah, you fucked around and you found out. That's what happened. And it's like, yeah, or like Houthis just got put on notice. It's like, why are you celebrating that? Why are you celebrating that? Do you not want America to implement sanctions on Israel? Aren't you a leftist? So it's only America that can implement sanctions on Israel? It's like no one else can do that? Is that what it is? Please call them for their new name. They are not Houthis anymore. Okay, a lot of people are dunking on Brianna for being wrong, but not nearly enough people are dunking on her for thinking they're called Houthinis. Because America bad? Is that your point here? In reality, Yemen is a famine because of the civil war, because of Houthini warlords.
God. All right, Filibuster Jane. You just broke. Damn, I didn't want it to go to the pig.
Are seizing all the food that gets sent in. With the Arab Spring, pro-democracy protesters wanted Ali Abdullah Saleh to end his 33-year rule. The Houthinis led by Harold Houthini, and then mass instability spread. It exacerbated as Iran started funding the Houthinis
Insane.
in a proxy war against Saudi Arabia to destabilize the region. Their cholera outbreak also didn't help. Again, the progressive point of view should be the frustration that the pro-democracy forces in Yemen were unsuccessful, not cheerleading the warlords being funded by Iran. This is what happens when you assume a position that other people in your orbit have also said without doing too much reading, and then just kind of letting Wikipedia do the rest of it and just slapping it on. I don't know how she arrived at Houthini, though, which is cool. That's unique. I appreciate that. I hope these sort of brainless Wikipedia skimming Twitter arguments post and their backlash make you as miserable as you deserve to be. Jesus Christ. Like, even if, and look, I'm not disrespecting Wikipedia, okay? Even though a little bit. On foreign policy, it's not great. But like, you should probably read a little bit before you assume a position specifically. And then that way, you won't come across like, you know, Yemen or the Houthis are responsible for the genocide and not the America-backed coalition forces, mostly Saudi Arabia, and even Al-Qaeda, as a matter of fact. Do Houthis disappear? Yeah, they disappear ships. I'm worried that El Quesadilla. El Quesadilla got American weapons to fight against the Houthis. All right, anyway. Are men in Iran? This article from Seymour Hersh.
Okay, who else thought that okay, Houthis was just a way, like, immediately in my head, I thought it was like just some leftist joking about just a different like way to say like female Houthis.
Well, this is something, like I said, has been a pet project.
Like the Houthinis. You know, in my head, I immediately was like, wait, is this just like, you know, like an actor-actress sort of like thing? Oh, God.
Sense of what happened there, what happened in Iran, and you're looking for responsible parties. This could be, not saying that this definitely is, but it could be. Wow, the Houthi, the chosen one, is the good guy. Well played, Hassan. Wait, what? What about the businessman that lost their money? How the F are Houthis' actions acceptable? What about the stolen ship? How are the Houthis' actions considered acceptable? I mean, I don't know if you're seeing what's going on, like, and how it's unfolding in front of your eyes, but like, you have genocide on the one hand, and then you have a businessman's profits on the other. Like, a better argument that you should craft in this circumstance is actually the genuine consequences of a blockade and how blockades are supposed to be acts of collective punishment, right? So if you want to, like, actually, quote unquote, own me, what you're supposed to say is, Hassan, didn't you just say sanctions are an act of collective punishment and a war crime? Doesn't that mean that what Houthis are doing is a war crime technically against Israel, right? Because this argument makes you look completely out of touch. You're saying that it doesn't matter how many Palestinians, now 30,000, have been killed in Gaza in the hands of Israel. What matters is the profits of a businessman. There's definitely a better way to try and make a anti-Yemen blockade argument that you can push here. That would at the very least say, like, these sanctions are killing Israelis or something. But you didn't do that. You immediately resorted to, well, it didn't work. But Hassan, didn't you just say economic warfare is just? I said warfare can be just, and I used the example of the Houthis in this regard. It is something that I want the United States of America to implement.
Well done,
I
Fennel.
want the United States of America to implement sanctions. So why would I turn around and go, oh, well, the Houthis are doing it, and I don't like their slogan that is anti-Semitic, which it is, for the record. So I am going to act like that the Houthis implementing a sanction is also inappropriate. No, that's not the case.
Just want the fucking Gerbera so I can scale effectively.
However, there are other consequences that Israel has placed upon itself. Okay? Like the cost of Israel's war on Hamas in Gaza are mounting on Israel. And this isn't about the blockade necessarily, but this is more so about how expensive it is to conduct this ethnic cleansing campaign. Terrorism is the act of asymmetric warfare against civilians or soft targets opposed to military targets generally, the same way that the top of the hour ad... Oh, my God. Is an asymmetric... Don't apologize. I just got gray named. I did. A gray name debated me. Hey, Cat for Cutie, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs, allowing 5 people to no longer be victim to the asymmetric warfare of a top of the hour ad break, which is coming now at the top of this hour. Just like at the top of every other hour. Bill Laser, thank you for the 5 gifted subs as well, allowing 10 people to no longer be attacked by this top of the hour ad break. Here's the 3-minute
very
ad break
South
now.
African. That's very
Maggie
South
Pie
African.
411, thank you for the 5 gifted.
To say brew.
The difference between justification on sanctions on Russia versus sanctions on Israel due to our direct funding of Israel's military,
Instead
right?
of bro.
Yes.
Oh, well,
That's
I
the
guess it
difference.
could be close.
I'm a firm believer that sanctions on our allies work. Sanctions on our enemies, not so much. At least historically speaking, sanctions on our enemies don't work that well because our enemies know that they are our enemies and they position their economy against American sanctions. Soil Senato 27, thank you for the 5 gifted. Our allies, on the other hand, take for granted our unconditional and vociferous support. So therefore, they are not. They would not be able to withstand global sanctions against Israel. In our last conversation with Ethan, one thing that he brought up was how minuscule the American military aid was to Israel. It's like about 3%, which is not minuscule at all for the record. However, what he failed to consider was that American sanctions don't work in that way. They don't just implement sanctions by pulling their support. American sanctions can be full-blown blockades upon a foreign nation, right? It's not that
I mean,
we would simply be
maybe you're
sanctioning
not
Israel
wrong.
or withdrawing our support from Israel, which would be significant in and of itself. We would also stop trade, technically, with Israel and stop other countries from trading with Israel as well. Okay? One of the other impacts of sanctions on Israel would be that withdrawing support, unconditional support of Israel at the global stage would allow the UN to at least make actionable, take action against Israel and make actionable decisions against Israel.
Now I get the fucking
Same with
mouse.
the International Criminal Court and the ICJ.
Like, and I literally have 1 life left, and I get the fucking mouse now. Oh, fuck this game, dude.
Anyway. Would you actually see the USA imposing that kind of sanctions? Hey, listen. There are decades where nothing happens, and then there are weeks.
You're right, it's
where
the wrong spot
decades
for the
happen.
saber. Oh,
You
God,
never
I'm
know.
such an idiot.
Never know.
I hope
Is it
they've got a
super
sniper.
likely? Not really. I mean, judging by our current performance, I don't think it's all that likely, but I won't stop hoping. That was beautifully said. Yeah, well, I didn't say it. It was a man by the name of Lenin who said it.
Lenin. Yeah, GG. Oh, actually, okay, I'm alive.
But yeah, there is definitely an economic toll on Israel.
Okay.
Because of how expensive it is, how costly it is to continue maintaining a massive army of reservists, some of which who die. That's bad for morale in general. Quick update on this, by the way. Representative Ilhan Omar is introducing legislation to block the Biden administration's attempt to sell $582 million in arms to Saudi Arabia. So just something to consider there as well. We will do worst tweets of 2023 in a little bit.
Yes, please.
But before we get to this is the last part
Ooh,
that I want to cover
watch that.
here with respect to.
I want to. Okay, Elden Ring is gonna happen at 2 a.m. when I go live again. All right. I want to see Hassan covering the worst tweets. Sorry, Elden Ring focus. I know I've been very bad. I've been very tired and not feeling like, you know, applying my brain in any sort of way. We're gonna have to. I will do Elden Ring today. I will go live at 2 a.m. because do you got? Oh wait.
And what exactly
South Africa
is the International Court of Justice, where it fits into the world justice system? And talk about the charge of genocide.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, Amy. My best to your listening audience. Not to toot my own horn here, but I was the first lawyer ever to win anything under the Genocide Convention from the International Court of Justice that goes back to 1921. I single-handedly won 2 world court
he's so
orders
old.
for the Republic of Bosnia-Herzegovina against Yugoslavia to cease and desist from committing all acts of genocide. And based on my careful review of all the documents so far submitted by the Republic of South Africa, I believe South Africa will win an order against Israel to cease and desist from committing all acts of genocide.
I hope so.
Against the Palestinians.
This guy's a bit NATO coded. Brace yourself. Of course. What are you talking about? He's an ICJ lawyer. Of course he's NATO coded. One thing I was thinking about this morning that I wanted to bring up is I pummel on libs a lot, especially institutional libs. Okay? A lot. But one of the things I have to mention here is that regardless of how much I dunk on liberals and whatnot and dunk on Democrats, I still take a lot of it, and you do as well, take a lot of what they do for granted. Okay? I was thinking about it from the perspective of like Harvard and the research that is done at like institutes of higher learning, because like there are still
he predates NATO, he does.
Liberals in American institutions that are doing a very important job, right? The FDA, sure. There's a lot of issues that you can have with the CDC. There's a lot of issues that you can have with the FDA. There's a lot of issues that you can have with the American government. But those Democrats, oftentimes, and even Republicans sometimes, that work at said institutions are kind of making everything work. And this is important. It's important for someone who I might disagree with on other instances to go out and still do this prosecution. Just like it's important for the UN to consistently keep bringing up charges against Israel, even if it doesn't do anything, right? It's important. It's important because, well, one, it becomes history. Chatter copied a comment from another chatter 10 minutes. Nobody knows chatter, but I know. I saw. Like, the same even goes for those who go and you know, argue in support of labor rights in front of the Supreme Court. It's like giving up on all of these institutions across the board is never the right is never the right option, right? This is also, I guess, part of the reason why I advocate for incremental change, marginal change.
Well,
I advocate for voting, you know, participating in the American elections. Right? That's it.
Palestinians. And then we will have an official determination by the International Court of Justice itself, the highest legal authority in the United Nations system, that genocide is going on. And under Article 1 of the Genocide Convention.
Is the classic argument used against anarchists kind of? No. It is, but also it's the argument that I make for anarchists. I say anarchists are often wreckers. Anarchists don't like showering. But I also still take a lot of anarchists for granted in the sense that they're also at the forefront of direct action. They're at the forefront of mutual aid. It's correct. They don't shower. And it's correct that they engage in wrecker behavior regularly. However, and maybe they are too lost in the weeds of idealism, almost childlike idealism. But overall, as it stands with respect to where we are in these final stages of capitalism, anarchists are doing a tremendous amount of work. Can you please tell me what you mean by wrecker? It's exactly what you think it means. It means someone who wrecks any kind of solidarity, any kind of political movement by portraying themselves oftentimes as a prominent member of said movement, while simultaneously they work specifically to attack solidarity. People who gatekeep. An example I will give you is an example of wreckers that I will give you is like a silly example, but it's not that there's any sort of real movement on the internet sphere of political commentary, but people who make it their business specifically to attack other leftist content creators on one issue or another while claiming that you're only doing this because this is good housekeeping. And the real fear that you have to, the real fear is actually the quote unquote tankies and not necessarily the fascists that are both in positions of power and also play a phenomenally important role in American foreign policy. Like this is what would be a wrecker. Or someone engaging as a wrecker. Sometimes it could be in prior years, I guess, when America had a more robust socialist movement in the Red Scare era and onward.
One last well, my electricity's going to go off in 40 minutes, so we'll have one more game. Sorry, I wanted to watch this. Suddenly, what I wanted to watch Hassan go over, he started covering.
These people would sometimes even be.
What do you guys want? Golden pack? I've got all the packs. What do you guys want?
Purposely plucked and picked to prevent solidarity and organizing from happening, right? And engage in constant fighting, constant infighting. Nowadays, people just do it to themselves. You want to try the golden pack? Obviously, so it doesn't even matter. You don't need to get.
How do I join? Super Auto Pets in browser, or you can make an account on. You can. It's free on Steam. It's free on any platform. You don't need to buy anything. Okay. We'll do the golden pack.
I don't like your description of anarchist theory and anarchists in themselves. I think it's pretty reductive and service level. Peace and love. Though you do good work, thank you for all you do, even though you have the same misunderstandings as Engels. Anyway, let's continue.
All contracting parties, 153 states, will then be obliged, quote, to prevent, unquote, the genocide by Israel against the Palestinians. Second, when the World Court gives this cease and desist order against Israel, the Biden administration will stand condemned under Article 3, Paragraph E of the Genocide Convention that criminalizes complicity in genocide. And clearly we know that the Biden administration has been aiding and abetting Israeli genocide against the Palestinians here for quite some time. This has also been raised by my friends in the Center for Constitutional Rights and in the National Lawyers Guild in a lawsuit against Biden, Blinken, and Austin. So I believe we will be able to use the World Court order. Right now, my sources tell me the hearing will be January 11, January 12. Based on my experience with the Bosnians, we can expect an order within a week. I would also say, with respect to the Biden administration, they are currently in violation of the Genocide Convention Implementation Act that makes genocide a crime under United States law. And again, once South Africa wins this order, the Biden administration also will stand in violation of the Genocide Convention Implementation Act. So I believe this is where we will be going.
Don talking to chatters. I'm the son of coal miners, he said. You are the descendant of feudal mandarins. We have nothing in common. Perhaps we do, murmured his Chinese antagonist. What? Blustered Khrushchev. We are, responded Zhu. Both traitors to our class. Well, I mean, I am a class traitor, I guess, if you want to consider me a part of the capital owning class.
Between now, I would say, and the end of this month. And it is up to all of us as American citizens to figure out and support what South Africa is doing at the International Court of Justice here.
Francis Boyle, what's the difference between the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court, which is already considering allegations of war crimes by both Israel as well as the Palestinian military?
Well, let me tell you what's not different. America pulled out of both in different time frames, okay? Last one being under the Trump administration.
Are we waiting for anyone else?
Prior was way back in the day.
Groups.
Right, Juan. The International Court of Justice was originally established back in 1921, its predecessor, legal predecessor in law. And that is where I filed the genocide case. I was the first lawyer ever to win 2 orders in one such case since the World Court was founded in 1921. And it was on the basis of the Genocide Convention.
Okay.
The International Criminal Court is a separate international organization set up in 2000. The problem, one, is this. Back in 2009, after Operation Cast Lead, I advised Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to accept the jurisdiction of the International Court, of the International Criminal Court for Palestine, which he did. I regret to report that the International Criminal Court has not done one darn thing to help the Palestinians since 2009. The International Criminal Court has all the blood of the Palestinian people on its hands since 2009. And Juan, that is why we set up a campaign to find a state willing to file a lawsuit at the International Court of Justice, the World Court.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's not surprising because for the most part, it is a direct consequence of America's unconditional and vociferous support. So that's something you need to remember. It's something you need to realize. That's it. It's just all manner of different organs of justice, and the international scale is oftentimes.
Let me see if that's a new pasta. Somebody asked me.
Oftentimes
as well.
directed by the
Old.
hegemonic power. In this case, it's the United States of America. It's just the truth.
It's a new pasta.
That's why when America engages in war crimes, there's no way that you can actually prosecute that. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to do that? You do not have the enforcement mechanism. My nephew said you are pro-Hamas, but I do not think that is true. You just want what's best for Palestinians. Your nephew said I'm pro-Hamas. Yeah. Okay. You have a nephew?
I knew that was coming.
A lot easier to win a case against Serbia in the 90s. Don't know why he has confidence in South Africa's case against Israel. All right. We're going to move back to the real act of terror here. That's right. Have it. The worst act of terror that has ever happened. In Have it, Claudia Gay has resigned amid renewed plagiarism allegations weeks after anti-Semitism hearing.
Here in the U.S., there are strong reactions over the resignation of Claudine Gay as president of Harvard University yesterday. After controversial testimony on Capitol Hill last month, she also faced claims of plagiarism allegations she strongly denies. Nicole Killian is following all of this, is in Washington. Nicole, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Jerika. Some Republican lawmakers, including the speaker, say this was long overdue, and Claudine Gay's sudden departure.
Not even going to mention Israel's lawyer? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I mean, it's a meme. But Israel is thinking about bringing the greatest lawyer of all time for this case. That's right, the Dersh. The Dersh is back. The boys are back in town, and the Dersh is back in town. The Dersh! Yep. Listen, man. Listen. Especially as the Epstein associates' names are being revealed, there's no better time. There's no better time for the best lawyer, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, to come out and swing for the fences here, okay? Because, like, if we know one thing, Israel does have a no extradition to the United States policy, which is part of the reason why a lot of pedophiles like going to Israel. If they don't go to France, of course. Okay? This is true. Now, I'm not saying Alan Dershowitz is a pedophile. I'm simply saying he has successfully defended pedophiles, like Jeffrey Epstein, and also has written articles about the constitutionality argument of the age of consent laws and why they must be lowered, constitutionally, of course. A tenured Harvard professor, Alan Dershowitz, who famously kept his underwear on at all times around the famous sex trafficker, friend to Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, has a lot
you're so right. No, that was
to
promised.
lose if Israel's political situation falls apart. I'm just saying, potentially. So according to your moderators, calling the IRA and the ANC not terrorists, would I get banned? Palestinians have the right to defend themselves? I agree. I do agree. According to your moderators calling the IRA and the ANC not terrorists, would I get banned? I don't know what you're trying to say. Are you in here to spark drama and chaos? Is that what it is? I've said this before. Yeah, I timed you out for spamming, by the way. Timeout equals bans. I've said this before. When all is said and done, did the ANC engage in acts of terror against civilians? Of course they did, right? Some gruesome ones as well. The IRA did as well. When all is said and done, what do you look at? So does the FLN. What do you look at? When we make an assessment when we make a historical assessment, what is the major act of violence in South Africa, for example? Is it the ANC's acts, or is it the apartheid itself? The same goes for Israel's apartheid and the resistance to said apartheid. The same goes for the Vietnamese liberation. Is it the Viet Cong that you think about when you think about the Vietnamese, when you think about America's war in Vietnam? Who was the bad actors in that regard?
ICC basically operates at the behest of its funders and founders and masters, which is the U.S., the NATO states, the European states, etc., until their expedited indictment of President Putin as U.S. NATO lawfare against Russia. The International Criminal Court had not indicted one American, one European, one Brit, one NATO citizen, and one Israeli, and one white person. So we have a campaign.
Wait, why did I get to this? We were talking about Claudine Gay. All right, let's talk about the real terror. The real terror being conducted.
Well done, Nadeem.
Oh, wait, this was the last thing. Friend of the show, Ryan Grimm, also engaged in. Okay, it's time. It's time to talk about. I was mentioning the Dersh, and then I went back to that video, but this is what I wanted to talk about.
To follow up on Turkey, I'm sure you've seen Turkey has joined South Africa in its charging Israel with genocide before the International Court of Justice. Is there any concern within the State Department that State Department officials could be roped into this prosecution?
No, I will say that as it relates to the State Department, we have been committed to addressing the humanitarian situation in Gaza and have made a priority of preventing, as I just said in response to your question, the displacement of Palestinians. I will also say, though, that genocide is, of course, a heinous atrocity, one of the most heinous atrocities that any individual can commit.
Which is why we're supporting Israel doing such heinous atrocity and refusing to call it that, right? That's what he's going to say, I assume.
Those are allegations that should not be made lightly, and as it pertains to the United States, we are not seeing any acts that constitute genocide.
And finally, over the break,
wow.
Dude, see, this is no. This is big. Here's why it's big. This is why these like liberal institutions in the rule-based international order still kind of work in some ways. Okay, sure, it's not the same as like, I don't know, criminally prosecuting like a person who stole Gucci bags or something, right? It's not as like immediate, and the mechanisms of enforcement obviously take some time. It's not the same as like a cop arresting you, right? But having said that, like the way that he is approaching the subject matter is not as dismissive as it would have been if there was no a court case being filed. Do you see what I mean? Like, these things do at least work in influencing the State Department, because it's just another prong of it's just another prong of attack. It's just another pressure point. You know what I mean?
Authorities in the Armenian quarter expressed deep concern that the Israeli government was using the conflict in Gaza to push out a lot of Armenian Christians from the Armenian quarter. Any response?
So no specific response to that, but as we have said on a number of occasions, we do not want to see the government of Israel take any steps that would escalate tensions. So, go ahead.
And to follow.
All right, but let's get to Claudine homosexual. That's right. Harvard president Claudine Gay resigns amid renewed plagiarism allegations weeks after anti-Semitism hearing. That's right. This is the biggest story, okay? This is the most important story. Let's do it.
Here in the U.S., there are strong reactions over the resignation of Claudine Gay as president of Harvard University yesterday. After controversial testimony on Capitol Hill last month, she also faced claims of plagiarism allegations she strongly denies. Nicole Killian is following all of this, is in Washington. Nicole, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Jerika. Some Republican lawmakers, including the speaker, say this was long overdue, and Claudine Gay's sudden departure makes her the shortest-serving president in Harvard's history.
6 months into her tenure, Harvard University President Claudine Gay announced her resignation in a letter, writing, "It is in the best interest of the school so it can navigate this moment of extraordinary challenge."
This is difficult work.
Gay's resignation comes nearly a month after she and the presidents of the University of Pennsylvania and MIT faced widespread condemnation following this testimony at a House education hearing on anti-Semitism on college campuses.
No, it was like
The answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
Republican Chair Elise Stefanik, a Harvard alum, posted 2 down, referring to Gay and Penn President Liz McGill, who also resigned days after the hearing, which Harvard law student Jonathan Frieden attended.
There's a lot of people and a lot of Jewish students who view this as a good thing, as a victory, as a step in the right direction. And then there's a lot of us that are also asking, but what next?
Gay was the university's first black president. She was criticized by many in the Jewish community for her response to anti-Semitism on campus after the Hamas attacks in Israel. She faced more scrutiny from some donors and conservative activists following allegations of plagiarism in her dissertation and several articles, which she denied. She wrote, "It has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, and frightening to be subjected to..."
They did it. They did it. They took her down.
Oh, I was talking about the International Criminal Court. Yeah. No, that is South Africa.
I talked about
and
this
it's
already.
a big dub for South Africa, but
already.
it's pretty insane that the South African government did
she's
that.
a Zionist, right? Like, she is pro-Israel. She's so pro-Israel that she also agreed in that congressional hearing with the false narrative that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, right? And because of that, in my opinion, she did a really piss poor job, just like the other 2 college presidents, in defending free speech on her campus, right? She did this, where she basically took the untenable position that implied that pro-Palestinian sentiment is akin to calling for the genocide of Jews, and that it should be allowed because this is a free speech campus. And for me, that is a really stupid way to try and argue.
The banana
because
manatee method.
you're
Yes, I
look
do
like
know
an
that.
absolute
You're right.
monster,
I should have done that early.
understandably,
I just don't know this pack very well.
to the broader American population. As far as the accusations of plagiarism comes, they came shortly after. This is something that everybody does. They comb through their background. They comb through the background of any figure that is in the crosshairs that needs to be taken down. And they found some sussy texts and some terrible citations or lack of citations in her work. Do I think that a lot of college professors engage in this kind of thing? Absolutely. Okay? Yeah, they do. Just, I don't place a lot of emphasis on this in the same way that I guess many do. Okay? But the reason why the plagiarism stuff came out, is specifically because they were looking for anything and everything that they could attack her on. And not just her, but they wanted to look for anything and everything that they can attack DEI on. That is precisely the reason why. That's precisely the reason why the conversation specifically placed the crosshairs on Claudine Gay and not the other college presidents. Okay? There was one Twitter thread from I think he writes for The Atlantic. This writer that had a decent take on it, where he was like, don't defend the plagiarism of Claudine Gay, which, you know, I don't care about at all. It's not this one. It's not this. This is not the one I'm talking about. I did read this yesterday, though. No, it's not this one either. Although I do agree with a lot of the takes in here as far as like how conservatives weaponize cancel culture and utilize cancel culture to their benefit by whipping up every center-left liberal into action. Okay. Where are we defending her? She's such a lib, and her response to the questioning was awful. I'm not defending her. I'm not defending her at all. Matter of fact, I can't explain to you how little I have defended her from the jump. Okay?
Yeah, no, I think Hassan also went over and was
Harvard
promised.
respected at all? Yes, Harvard is like the top institution historically in the United States of America. What are we talking about? That's just the truth. No, it's not Adam Johnson either. It's a dude that he's a black writer who regularly talks about like campus culture himself, and he's a bit of a centrist. I forget. Let me see if I actually liked any of the tweets so I can find it. No, it's not Adam Server. Oh, no. No, it's not that one either. Chris Rufo himself actually replied to the guy, too. Hold on, I'll find it through Chris Rufo's replies, being like, what's racist about it? I don't get it. Hold on, I'll find it. Hold on. I love that Politico went to the guy who basically started this thing and very openly said he was going to weaponize it and laid his plan out. And now, you know, Politico is like giving him the credit. Hold on. Where is it? I can't find this. The funniest part about Chris Rufo is that he is ultimately he is not like this brilliant tactician at all. He's not even remotely this brilliant tactician. It's just that the American media apparatus is so perfectly conditioned into leaning on any kind of reactionary sentiment. Not Jonathan.
I'm still
Chait
surviving.
Either. Where is it? I can't find the fucking tweet. God damn it. How long ago was it? This motherfucker does not stop tweeting. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. He is just constantly tweeting. Tweeting up a goddamn storm, dude. I mean, he's just flexing. No, it's not this. It's not Thrasher. Oh. Can't find it now. God damn it. I wonder if he deleted his reply or something. To the guy originally. It's not. It's like a Zaid Jilani type dude who has written about college campuses before. Oh, I think you found it. I think this is it. Wait, let me see. Yep. Thank you. Just a Girl L. You win. That is the one I was talking about. So Tyler Austin Harper is a writer, assistant professor at Bates College, and he
The chocolate
has
cake. Chocolate cake is
he has
such a
some
good
interesting
idea.
takes. Oh wow, I was just at it too. I was just at the fucking thread.
With the Nyla.
Anyway, he talks about college campus DEI stuff like that.
But not with the
Interesting perspective. So here's what his take was. I think is
Not peacock.
There are
guinea fowl.
obviously plenty of different opinions that I've read here on this broadcast that are overwhelmingly in support of Claudine Gay and whatnot. But then also there are some other opinions that I wanted to show you. Now, this is what I agree with 100% wholeheartedly. Articles about Claudine Gay and her various scandals were top 5 featured stories on the New York Times homepage on December 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 17th, 22nd, 25th, and her firing is now their top story. There is simply no way this is proportionate, sober, or reasonable coverage. Adam Johnson is absolutely correct. It is not. It is not proportionate, sober, or normal coverage. It's not reasonable at all. Because it's a very good, cool, fun story to focus on because one, New York
Do you have
Times
guinea
is,
fowl in South Africa? You mean
the
guinea
New
fowl?
York Times readers
yes, lots of
care
guinea fowl.
about it.
And I don't think it's
Okay.
invasive. I think it is native.
But it's also a very good way to just like stop talking about Israel's genocide. Now, right-wingers have always weaponized cancel
We do have
culture
peacocks in
against
South
people
Africa,
that they
yes,
consider to
but
be
not a lot.
enemies, right? They do it very openly.
They're not really invasive. Invasive. I guess they were brought over.
I'm not 100% sure on this, but I saw a good
There
amount
are
of academics
ibises that
online
called
saying that she
hardy
didn't
does.
actually plagiarize. Apparently, plagiarism software flags repetition of
Hardy
phrases,
da.
which almost everyone does in their writing. Not that it matters ultimately.
And they're
No,
very annoying.
There are certain parts of her
was this invasive?
writing
Okay,
that
then it's invasive.
looks
I
to
don't
have
know.
ripped, like direct quotation. Some of it is not. Some of it is improperly cited. Some of it is regular legal boilerplate. Those things are not plagiarism. Some
Oh
of
my
them
God,
do
amazing.
borderline on plagiarism. However, now of course the standard of such plagiarism, like or what this implies, is being talked about without the actual minutia, without the actual details of said plagiarism. Right? It's more so just, excuse me, there's 47 acts of plagiarism here. How are you going to defend plagiarism? Why are you defending plagiarism? Like, the conversation just immediately moves in a very bad faith way to directly saying, oh, you're defending plagiarism. Okay? Now, here's what I think is really interesting, right? Claudine Gay discourse is going to make my head explode. Were the original attacks on her, which predated the plagiarism, motivated by racism? Yes, obviously. Did she plagiarize? Yes, also obviously. Stop debasing yourself with Orwellian talk of academic sloppiness. Nothing is stopping Harvard from hiring another black woman. Academics would be better off spending their time mounting a pressure campaign demanding Harvard install another POC president. Stop insisting we all consent to a collective delusion that plagiarism isn't plagiarism. There are unattributed, duplicated paragraphs. What the fuck do you think plagiarism is? Is she the worst offender? No. Are there plenty of professors, many of them famous and white, getting away with worse? Yes. You can quibble with her firing, but don't ask me to believe 2 + 2 = 5. Okay? Black academics do amazing work every day. We don't need you to move the plagiarism goalposts or invent bullshit ideas like academic sloppiness. The right's early witch hunt against Gay was racist, but the progressive response is also racist. It assumes we need lower standards. To which Chris Rufo replied, what do you mean it's racist? What's racist about it? And I think this part was really good. Hold on. Wait, where is it? Didn't Christopher Rufo reply to this? Why can't I see it? Wait. Let's pull that up too. I can't find it now. God damn it.
Ooh, we can get this up to like level
Weren't some of the samples cut off to erase the citation at the beginning of the quote? Yes. 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 That absolutely does happen. They do it all the time. Here's the thing. I'm telling you right now. It's because there is no real genuine crime here, or like they're padding. Conservatives do this thing, and everyone basically does this. Liberals do it too. Like people who are engaging in, I guess, quote unquote, cancel culture will do this thing where they will mine for anything that is a valid critique, right? Because everyone kind of understands you can't really cancel someone that is your ideological opponent. Conservatives can't cancel someone like myself. Only the left can cancel someone like myself, which is why, like, one of the things that plays a really decent role in pushing people away from listening to what I have to say is usually not done necessarily by like the likes of Ben Shapiro or whatever, but it's done by people who consider themselves to be progressive or have portrayed themselves to be progressive when they're not actually progressive at all, right? One thing that the left also does regularly, for example, is, and this is something that everybody does, is quote mining, finding something that you've said, finding something that you may not have actually intended, and then pummeling it over and over and over again until people from your ideological side are forced to respond, right? And because everyone wants to be morally above this sort of thing, and they don't want to come across like they're biased, they will say, oh yeah, no, that guy's bad, it's wrong. I apologize, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Meanwhile, all of this is done completely cynically. Okay? What is life like on Bitch
Anyway,
Island?
Christopher was at, huh?
What attacks were motivated by racism? If we're doing racism tabulation here, Claudine Gay is by far the most guilty. Explicit racism against whites and Asians, a flagrantly discriminatory DEI bureaucracy, and minimization of anti-Semitism on campus. Nobody cares that she's black. They care that she's a bad leader and an academic fraud. That's what Christopher Rufo said, right? Who, by the way, also is simultaneously openly gloating that this is bullshit. Okay? Tyler Austin Harper correctly pointed out and said, after the hearing, the right media ecosphere immediately became laser focused on Gay. Her testimony, while not great, was a mile the best of the three, and she gave the same answer to a question about calls for genocide against blacks. Okay? But it doesn't end there. Yet, Gay, the diversity hire, immediately became the story, even though, again, the other two presidents were far more incompetent. So that's the thing. Okay? Every single person immediately, even before they found plagiarism, right, or how much plagiarism was found in her work is, of course, in question, they immediately said, oh, she's incompetent, she's bad, she's only there because she's black, she's...
Why am I watching a video while I'm playing? Why not? I'm watching Hassan cover the news. Playing Super Water Pets.
The board almost identical to like the average academic. Okay? It is. You think these guys didn't have Turnitin, you know, or some kind of Turnitin style structure when she was writing these dissertations? Like, no, they did. They were looking at that stuff back then too. Okay? It's not like plagiarism became an important facet of
the chat is a Ms. Kid. Oh god. Okay.
College experience and how dissertations are analyzed.
Chill,
right?
Chill.
It's a thing that has existed for a while.
Gotta relax.
Okay, maybe not Turnitin, but they certainly looked at it, and the people that looked at it saw that it met academic muster. Okay, so the idea,
these kids are coming.
The idea that like you know, she
just relax.
Basically got away with like plagiarizing all this academic material, and it's somehow way worse than her contemporaries.
It's not like I'm just like watching Hassan like and it's like he wouldn't like this. Okay,
you know,
I'm well known in Hassan's like community. Relax.
It's so commonplace that there are Supreme Court justices of the United States that have engaged in similar acts. Or even worse.
I am going to stream in 2 hours again for some Elden Ring. Okay? Yes, Blum. Yeah, like, I'm fine, dude. No one will care. Hassan will not give a fuck if I watch him live. At all. Okay. My electricity is gonna go off yeah, sorry, my capsule's on. Okay, no worries. My electricity is gonna go off in 10 minutes. So I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, load shedding. This is fucked. That I have load shedding. Yes, it is fucked. Hearing Turkish, I'm on insane. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay. I'm gonna send you guys to Devon again. Okay. Be nice to Devon. Alright. SA is shit. I think that is actually a South African chatter. Sakragul. But just let them write it. Let them write an unban request, okay? It's very weird to come into someone's chat and do that, okay? Anyway.